Welcome back. Over 500,000 people have been killed since the Syrian civil war broke out in 2011. That includes countless women and children. Syria may just be the most dangerous place on earth. But one Christian relief organization is going where few people dare to tread, right into the heart of the Syrian civil war. Frontier Alliance International is not only bringing crucial medical aid and supplies to desperate Syrians, they're showing them firsthand the love of Jesus. Let's head back to the Israeli-Syrian border to hear their story.
In 2011, we started FAI and we began to pioneer the organization by prioritizing regions in turmoil. Now, the reason for that was manifold, but one of the primary reasons was these places, apart from being the most unreached and unengaged regions in the world from a missiological perspective, from a gospel disciple-making perspective, on top of that, these are the places of the world that are notoriously overlooked or even avoided by the church and mission organizations in general.
Look, you started in Iraq, in the ashes of ISIS, and you spent time there. Before you came here to Syria, talk a little bit about your experience in Iraq and what brought you to Syria in particular.
When we saw the beginning stages of the Syrian revolution, I knew that the birth of the organization was really about Syria. And so for the last number of years, we've been living and pioneering in pretty much every country around Syria, just not inside Syria. We've not been working inside Syria until 2017. And we've been laboring in prayer, Lord, open up a door for us. And so we were living in Turkey, we were living in Iraq, and we've been ministering throughout the ISIS years. When Fallujah fell, when Mosul fell, we began focusing on Iraq in particular and the Kurdish world. But my heart was burdened for Syria. And so as the years barreled on, we labored in prayer, Lord, open up a door for Syria. And it was so surprising that the door to Syria opened up through the Israeli side in partnership with the IDF. It's an incredible story.
Yeah, well, unfold that story for us a little bit. So this door opens with the IDF, and all of a sudden your teams at FAI are crossing over into the hottest hotspot, the most dangerous place on earth, Syria. How did that all go down?
I got connected with Marco at the beginning of 2017, had a phone call, and he said, do you want to work in Syria? I said, yes, we've been praying for this for years. So I came for a meeting with Marco, I came for a meeting with the IDF, and I realized if we want it, the door is open. These everlasting doors are open. So we did the Psalm 24 thing and said, open up everlasting doors. And this summer we put the first teams inside. And it was an amazing, breathtaking experience to watch, to imagine the scene. I mean, imagine the scene, the middle of the night, the Israeli army focusing on this hostile border, opening up the fence for a Christian mission organization to walk through the fence, to go plant their lives, long-term, full-time, to move there. We're not doing short-term coming and going. They're moving into these communities in Syria to serve them through thick and thin, hell or high water. They're there to serve long-term. And so it's been an amazing, incredible experience to watch this, let's call it a relational triangle between the IDF, between Syrians on the other side, and between FAI. It's been this dynamic relationship between these three parties that has really, I think it's changing the course of history on both sides of the border fence.
And Dalton, I think that's a testament to what FAI is all about. Look, where most people are praying to get out of Syria, you guys are praying to get into Syria. Once you are there, tell us some of the things you have seen and your team has experienced and the work you're doing.
You're exactly right. It's when state departments and ambassadors leave is when the church needs to be engaging and entering into it. Because this is our opportunity to give the most meaningful engagement, is when the rest of the world evacuates. And not in a bombastic, heroic, carnal way, but in a legitimate way that says to someone, you and your children matter. And that's essentially what we're saying to the next generation of Syrians is, you matter, your kids matter. And if you guys can live through this, we can live through this with you. We want to walk through this fire with you. We want to serve you because that's what Jesus does. He walks with us through fire. Not only did he bleed on a cross for us, but he walks with us through fire. And I think that's, it's not just a message. We have to demonstrate it and to display it to Syrians. And the impact of it is absolutely incalculable. Think of it from the perspective of a Syrian in one of these villages. If I named any of the villages along the border here, no one would recognize the names of them. We all know Damascus, Aleppo, but we don't know the names of these little villages. And they feel that. They feel alone, forgotten, marginalized, that no one cares about.
Surrounded by the bad guys.
Totally. And then when their great epic enemy comes to them and says, hey, the Israelis opened the door for us to come here to bless you. Do you receive us? They go, yeah, of course we receive you, because everyone else has forgotten us and avoided us. Why are you here? And the impact of being on the ground, you know, we use the language of the ministry of presence. Being present, the impact of that can't be calculated. Because when you're present on the worst day of someone's life, the impact of that is just, it's astronomical in terms of what it is on a psychological and emotional and a spiritual level. It's powerful. Israel has fostered and nurtured this relationship between Christians and Sunni Muslims inside Syria. That is just unprecedented.
Folks, the work Dalton and the team at Frontier Alliance International are doing is brave and inspiring. After the break, we'll hear from a former high-ranking Israeli intelligence officer who's formed an incredible pairing with Dalton and who really helped to spearhead the IDF's assistance to Syrians fleeing from all that bloodshed. Stick around to hear his amazing story. It's The Watchman. It's Christians united for Israel, only right here on TBN.